Welcome back to my channel. So in my previous video, I've asked you guys to ask me questions about Cuenca and I'll answer all of them. So I've compiled a list of all the questions that people asked me. A lot of questions were repeats, so I kind of like formatted it into a bigger question. So let's get started. The first question is, what is your general impression of Cuenca? Could you see yourself living there? My general impression of Cuenca is very good. It's a very slow-paced city, and it's unlike any other Ecuador city where it reminds me of Europe a lot, especially if you're walking in Old Town. The main thing we love about Cuenca is that the weather is so nice. It's around the same temperature all year round, maybe like 4 or 5 degrees different between seasons. That's what attracted us to Cuenca. Could I see myself living here? Definitely, but not right now because I am still in college and I actually need to go back to finish my degree, but definitely in the future. And for my mom, I can speak for her that she definitely loves it here and hoping to spend more time here permanently. The second question is, have you had any interactions with Americans there? And if you have, are they good or bad? And also someone asked if I've interacted with locals and how are them? I've interacted with both people. Most people are nice and most people are very helpful because everyone is technically a foreigner here. You're just moving here as a new immigrant, so everyone's very helpful to each other. No one really has any bad intentions through looking for apartments and stuff like that. Even though that we didn't, end up renting someone's apartment or something, people are still super nice, giving us information on how to get around the city or answer any questions that we have. So Americans are definitely very nice, but locals are also very helpful. A lot of the Ecuadorians that we met helped us with so many things, like opening bank accounts to how to pay your bills and stuff like that. And even if people don't speak English, they'll try to help you. And they're very patient when it comes to the language barrier. They're always patient with using Google Translate or body language or whatever. The thing about Cuenca is that we lived in Quito for a month or so back in January, and there were a lot of street vendors or kids trying to sell you candies and stuff like that on the streets. And you would be just sitting in the restaurant and someone would come up to you or come into the restaurant and try to sell you stuff. But that doesn't really happen here, which I really like because it does get annoying a little bit when people are constantly trying to make you buy stuff. It doesn't really happen here, so that's awesome. The third question is, what is your impression of food in Cuenca? Favorite restaurants? My impression of food is that you can find anything here. You can find anything from Italian to French to Ecuadorian food, Asian, anything. There's a lot of restaurants, but the thing is that they don't really open on weekends or whenever it rains. The thing about Cuenca's weather is that it rains pretty much every day, but only for an hour or so. And every time it rains, some restaurant closed down. One of my favorite restaurants is Oromar. I think they have a few locations all throughout Cuenca. And we went to the one in Old Town, and they have outdoor seating, a patio. But the second it started raining, the workers started taking everything in, and they closed down the restaurant simply because it rained, even though they had indoor seating. So definitely keep that in mind when you're going out because Google Maps is not very trustworthy right now with the hours of each restaurant. Other than Oromar, I also really enjoyed this rooftop restaurant. I actually forgot the name. I'll put it here or here. We love this restaurant because it's on the rooftop and you can see the Castillo of Cuenca and all the beauty of the city. I think everyone has different standards to what's a good restaurant. For us, the view is very important. So I feel all of our restaurant picks are view related, but I'll put a list of all the restaurants we've been to that we really liked. You guys can go and try it out for yourself. Next question was, how did you find an apartment? What the expenses? How did you find a broker? Basically how to find apartments for foreigners in Cuenca. So we found an apartment within a week and a half. We went on several different websites like Gringo Post, Plusvalia, also Facebook group. There's a Facebook group called Cuenca Rentals. Check that out. Most of these websites, they update daily, so we were checking every single day, and also the days leading on to even arriving in Cuenca. The process was, I don't think it was that hard because I live in New York City. In New York City, it's super hard to find an apartment because all the paperwork and all the crazy stuff. So I thought it was relatively easy, but depending on where you lived before, you could find it kind of hard because of, you know, the language barrier and all the traveling around, especially when you first just got here. And in terms of pricing, I think it's super cheap compared to a lot of major cities in the US. Our apartment is $780 a month. I'll probably be doing another tour video of this apartment so you can see what you can get for $780. Also, this apartment is actually more on the expensive side in Cuenca. You can find much cheaper places for like $500, $400, even like rooms for like $200, $300 a month. So definitely it's not expensive. Utilities is also very cheap. So we pay around $20 to $30 depending on how much we use each month for gas, water, and electricity. So really not that much. And how did I find a broker for the apartment? I found it through a website because I just kept calling different people, either via WhatsApp or like just calling them. Some of the numbers we called were brokers and some weren't. Usually on the website, they'll say that they're a broker, or like you can see several different listings with the same person or the same number, so you'll know that that's a broker. We had a couple of different brokers take us around to see different apartments. The broker process is not that hard because most of the brokers on those websites speak English, so they actually help you with like the signing process and everything. My only remarks about the whole broker thing is that remember, this is a very slow-paced living city, so that they may not respond to you very fast. We were very fortunate to find someone who were very responsive and helped us find our perfect apartment. Actually, I have a funny story. Because we were seeing apartments with like 3 different brokers. So the broker that helped us find this apartment was the first one that brought us to see this apartment. But we also made appointments with 2 other people the next day. I think it was one at 10 o'clock and one at 12 o'clock to see different apartments, or so we thought. We ended up realizing that actually all 3 of them were showing us the same apartment, which was this one. And then we eventually ended up renting it. So a lot of these different brokers, they will represent kind of the same apartments. You just kind of have to like ask them a lot of questions and also give them a lot of information on what you like, and then hopefully they'll find you your dream place. And then in terms of like foreigners finding apartments here, it's not hard. Like, people might try to upcharge you just because you're a foreigner because they know that you have money to like immigrate here. So you can look on different websites, and also you can negotiate price too. Don't be afraid to negotiate. And then the next question is, how are you applying for residency visa? So I'm actually not applying for residency visa because I'm not staying here permanently. My mother is. She applied the visa through investment, and so basically that route you either have to deposit $40,000 or buy a property that's more than $40,000. And this is only one way. I know there's several other ways to do it. Like there's a retirement fund situation where you just have to have, I think, around $500 of income every month coming into your account. There's also a bunch of other ways to do it. I think the best way is just to consult a lawyer or agency that does this. There's plenty of lawyers in Cuenca that you can reach out to before you even come here. They can give you information on what you need or like what type of residency visa suits you the best. The other thing I noticed that because I'm offspring of my mother, so I can technically also apply for residency visa if I just, I think, pay like $1,000 or $2,000 because I'm her offspring. So if you're coming as a family, I think you can do like one person and then add another like next of kin or something for a few $1,000s. Okay, next question. What do we really need to pack? So When I came here, I made the mistake to bring only summer clothes. So don't do that. You have to bring everything from winter, fall, spring, summer clothes, your hiking boots, the sandals, the raincoats, umbrellas, because the biodiversity here is so diverse that the weather in Ecuador is dramatically different from city to city. Like Quito is very cold compared to Cuenca, and you can really feel the humidity also because it's in the mountains and it has a higher altitude. Definitely bring everything from heat tech to t-shirts or tank for the beach, because you can go from Cuenca, say if you drive towards the beach, the second you cross the mountain, you can see all the trees, all the plantation changes, and the weather dramatically changes. So you need to bring everything. If you want me to name one thing that you have to bring, is raincoats. Or, well, two things, raincoats and rain boots, or hiking boots. Some kind of waterproof protection clothing, because it does rain a lot in Cuenca, and the weather report is never accurate because Cuenca is in the middle of a bunch of mountains, so the cloud shifts very fast, and then it could be sunny a second, and then the next second it's raining hail. We actually got caught in a hailstorm once, and the weather report said that it was supposed to be sunny all day, so you just never know. So bring a waterproof jacket. The next question is, how safe is Cuenca? Should we walk or take a taxi? I say that Cuenca is pretty safe compared to other cities in Ecuador. We usually, if it's within walking distance, 10 minutes, maybe even 15, we walk. Because it's so nice to see all the streets and enjoy the sun a bit if it's out. Also the rivers. So we love walking around Cuenca. There are several different transportations in Cuenca other than taxi. Of course, taxi is the most convenient, but you also have the tranvia, which runs, I think, every 10 minutes across town. It doesn't go everywhere in Cuenca, so you do have to live close to it to use it. And then we also bike around a lot because there are bike lanes along the rivers and also on the streets. I think Cuenca's trying to add in more bike lanes to encourage biking more. I do want to say at night we try not to go out too much. A lot of restaurants don't open till that late. They close, I don't know, anywhere from 5 to 6, and that's it. So it doesn't go that late. Usually we go out for lunch and stuff instead of dinners. Dinners we just have at home. So that's something we had to change after we moved here too. What are the prices like? Hotels, food, tourist attractions? The general price is quite cheap, but sometimes for hotels, especially if you go on a holiday or something, it does get kind of expensive. The one we stayed in Manta, I think it was around $80, $90 a night. And then Kudalini was the other one we stayed at in Olan. That one was around the same price. It's not super expensive, but we were traveling on a holiday that weekend. So I think if you go on a regular day or a week, the price will be cheaper. There's so many holidays here, all the Independence Day, President's Day, blah blah blah. I don't know, I genuinely do not know when each holiday is gonna happen. So sometimes we run into a holiday and we go out, nothing is open. Also, the other thing is, whenever there's a holiday, you're not allowed to buy alcohol in Ecuador. Whether that's restaurants or supermarkets, liquor store, nothing. Also during the election, you're not allowed to drink alcohol or buy alcohol. So something to keep in mind. Also, traveling inland within the country, if you don't go to the Galapagos or the Amazon, you just go to different cities, the prices are really cheap. You can get food for $2 to $3. But if you go to the Galapagos or the Amazon, it's another story. We were planning on going to the Galapagos and the Amazons, but we decided not to go because first, if you actually get your Ecuadorian ID, the cedula, you actually get a very major discount on the tickets to go to Galapagos. So we were waiting for my mom's cedula, which is ID, to arrive. but it hasn't, so we're waiting for that to come. Because of COVID, they're requiring everyone to get a COVID test before going, and COVID tests are very expensive in Ecuador. It costs anywhere from $90 to upward $120 per test, and it does come out really fast on the same day, but that's a little too expensive, I think. So we just wanted to wait until maybe this pandemic's over and then go. Same thing with the Amazon. You also have to get a yellow fever shot to go to Amazon, and 10 days prior to going. And you can actually get that shot for free if you just find any clinic. I think there's like a specific clinic you can go to, and you just tell them that I'm going to the Amazon, and they'll give you the shot for free. Also, the other reason we decided not to go was from like traveling to different towns like Manta. We saw that like a lot of places are closed. Restaurants, like places to, you know, hang out. Even the beach. We went to Manta and the beach was closed because of COVID. So we're really afraid that if we go to Galapagos or Amazon, that we won't really enjoy the flow of it because of COVID, because that things needs to close in order for the cases to go down. And then the last question was, how is the entry requirement in terms of COVID? Also, how is it going back to the US? I entered Ecuador in January. Back then, all the requirements were just a negative COVID test, and that's it. I think it's still the same thing. You just need to have a negative COVID test within 72 hours, and then you're set. I thought that upon landing, they would do a really fast, like PCR, like rapid testing or something, but no. It was just, you get there and they check your negative test, and then you leave. I would suggest printing your test because I didn't print mine, and it was kind of hard to like let people see on my phone and zoom in and stuff like that. And then for going back to the US, I'm actually leaving very soon, so I have to go get my test soon. It's also the same thing, I think, 72 hours prior to the flight. I'm getting it in Cuenca at this lab called Laboratorio Biomolecular. They charge us $88 for a test, but I've asked other laboratories that charges anywhere from like $100 to $120, so $88 is cheap. I think everyone just needs to be careful and like hold themselves accountable in terms of like safety precautions, like wear your mask, bring your hand sanitizer. I think in the bigger cities like Quito, Cuenca, and Guayaquil, the safety measures are taken very seriously. Everywhere you go, they'll, you know, spray you with alcohol and like take your temperature. But if you go to a smaller towns, especially beach towns like Oman, things get a little loosey-goosey because, you know, it's hot. It's hard to keep your mask on. So we've seen a lot of people who are not wearing masks. We felt it. It was very hot and humid to wear a mask. But you just need to be careful and not do anything too crazy, and you'll be fine. And that is the end of the Q&A. Thank you everyone for submitting their questions. I hope this can help a lot of you with your move here, and I really hope that you decide to come because it's so worth it to journey through this adventure and come visit this kind of hidden gem in South America. Thank you everyone for your support. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you have more questions, leave them down in the comments. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Also, that if you have more information on any of the questions I've answered, please feel free to comment below if you have a different opinion or not. So, thank you everyone. Have a good day.